Hello, everybody. I'm Melissa Wilson from Fox 26 Morning News, also the medical reporter for Fox 26. And with that job, I get to meet the most fascinating people. Certainly, that is the case today. I'm talking about somebody who has just defeated one medical problem after another, started his own foundation to help others, and uses his faith along the way to get him through it all, and always seems to have a smile on his face. We can all learn from Adam Cherney. Let's bring him in. Adam, welcome to Lunch for the Soul.
Thank you for having me.
I am so happy to see you again. So everybody, I got to meet Adam through the most amazing organization called the Dive Pirates. That is such a neat group of people. So first of all, tell us about that and how fun that is. And then we'll get into your entire journey.
Of course. It is a wonderful organization. They take us with disabilities, spinal cord injuries, you name it, and they get you certified in scuba diving. They will get a buddy certified, your wife, your husband, your son, whatever it is, a friend, and they will buy you gear as well as your buddy, and then take you on some of the most amazing trips you could ever go on. These photos are at the Cayman Brock in the Grand Caymans, and it was one of the best trips I've ever been on, and I love traveling.
I love that so much. Just looking at those pictures, I'm in awe. Okay, so now we need to go back and talk about what led you there to begin with. So first of all, you became a Marine back in 2011. Once a Marine, always a Marine, I know.
Yeah.
But you had a really serious injury at that time. What happened?
Yeah, I was in boot camp in about 7 months in, and I'm sorry, not 7 months into boot camp, but while I was in boot camp, I fell off a rappelling tower. I don't know how high it was, but I had a spinal cord injury at T11, it's the lower of your thoracic spine. And from there, it was about a year and a half, 4 back surgeries, recovery, and trying to get life back going.
Okay, so how did you overcome that? Because you had to have some serious surgeries after breaking your back. How do you overcome that and be able to walk again?
Well, I'll be honest, there was times where you don't have a lot of hope. You deal with pain. It's hard to get your mindset into hope and progressing forward. However, I'm a very stubborn person, as my wife will tell you, and I don't want to give up. Never do.
Yeah. I just think that's so incredible for you to be able to say that and for us to learn how to pull that off, because I think it's easy to give up sometimes. So then you had really a really difficult thing because you had infections that required even more surgeries.
Correct. 2 of the surgeries were for infections and what's called a spinal leak from the first and the third surgery.
And then you actually were able to overcome all that, though, right? You got back on your feet until 2020. And then the awful thing called COVID came around. What happened at that point?
So doctors assumed that I had this disease about 2014 from the infections. There's no real proof, but that's just what their diagnosis is. And it was laying dormant until about 2020 when I got COVID. It woke up and just started ravaging my life. So.
And what was it called?
It's called adhesive arachnoiditis. Very rare.
Yeah, I bet most people haven't even heard of it. So what came with that was a massive amount of pain, right? What was that like, and how did it affect your day-to-day living?
It's when we look at it and listen to it and try to relive that, it's hard, but there was times where the pain was so bad that I was bedbound for about a year and a half, and my wife had to step up and do everything for me. And the pain could be so bad depending on what you got going on with it, that I would try to sit up from a laying position in bed, and it took me about an hour to an hour and a half just because every single movement I would scream in pain.
I cannot even imagine. What did you do to get through those tough days?
I depended on my wife. We were only a year into marriage, and a lot of relationships when someone's with a disability, they unfortunately end up not making it. We leaned on everyone we could possibly lean on. I found nonprofit after nonprofit. I went to my church, and we were blessed to have people come around that helped me with mental health, helped her with mental health, and helped us with finances and whatever we needed in that moment.
And how thankful are you that you've had your wife by your side through all of this? Because I have interviewed so many people through the years, and the spouse ends up walking. I mean, and I got to meet her. She is such a powerhouse, and you guys are so lovely together. Talk about how much she means to you.
She means, my relationship with Christ comes first, but she is amazing. I almost feel like I can't go on without her at this point. We've only been 4 years of marriage, but when you go through something like that with someone, it changes everything.
Well, I know she has to be so, well, I know she's impressed with you and how nothing slows you down. Let's talk about just how much we can't slow you down. Okay, so I've got the entire list here for everybody to see. So you've done adaptive skiing, golfing, tennis, that wasn't enough. So powerlifting, wheelchair motocross, which I didn't even know that was a thing, hand cycling, surfing, and last but not least, because we talked about it in the beginning, scuba diving. I mean, your life is truly remarkable. It's incredible. It's fun. It's adventurous. Have those things helped you work through that pain, or do you have to do them and not think about the pain? How does all of that come into play?
I go into it expecting pain, unfortunately. It just comes with the life. I expect that there's going to be some level of pain, but the desire to not give up and to really just push forward and have fun and show others that you can still push through it and have fun is better to me than, I can deal with the pain knowing that.
As we look at this picture, walk us through here. Are these some folks you've met through Dive Pirates?
Yeah. So the cool thing is they told us to wear these pink shirts. Obviously, me and my wife did not know that, but we were able to find people as we traveled. So I started in Florida, or Georgia, went to Florida, and then we went to the Caymans from there. Well, because some people wore the pink shirts, we were able to identify who was going on this trip. And so we were able to build the relationship before we even got to that location. It was really cool. And then from there, the friendships have just grown more and more.
I can only imagine. Well, when we talk about that pain, I want to go back to the Dive Pirates, because you describe this just believable pain, probably something that none of us can even fathom. But you get in the water, and all of a sudden you don't realize what it was like not to be in pain, right? What was that like, just to be floating and to not feel any pain?
I always say it's surreal. When you go over 10 years of constant pain, I forgot what it feels like to not be in pain. I associate everyone else being in pain as well. When I got down there, we're down there, and I'm supposed to be focusing on the sea life and the colors, and I was, but part of me was going, how long can I stay down here? Can I just stay down here and experience that free feeling to be able to move how I want and to not feel any pain?
When we have this whole list of everything that you've done, what was one of the more challenging ones where it didn't relieve that pain and maybe it was difficult?
The hardest ones I've had was tennis and hand cycling. And I think that kind of surprises people. They would think the powerlifting would be harder, or the skiing. Part of the disease is it affects the entire spine. So it started in my lumbar, which is the bottom of your spine, and now it's increased to up in the neck. It also has affected my hand pain. So I competed in a hand cycling, and as I'm doing it, I didn't give up. It was a 21K, but my hands hurt the entire time, as well as tennis. That one was very tough to do.
But there you are. You did it anyway, and you worked through it. Let's talk about something that I was so impressed with you. You gave a speech in front of a recent huge event in Houston for the Dive Pirates, and you talked about how even though you have been through some really tough challenges, you felt like it was all part of God's plan. How do you feel that way? Explain that to somebody who might not understand.
Sure. Going through what I've gone through, I can look at key moments in my life that were bad and good, and look at how God was helping me in those moments and how he was guiding me. And, what I'm doing with this motivation, inspiration, trying to just show people that life is still worth living, really any of us could do that. I think I look at my as more of a symbol, but really it's Jesus working through me to help others who need that as well. But it could be anyone in the disability community.
Let's talk about how you have fueled all of your passion into helping others now. What is Cherney's journey?
So Cherney's journey started, my wife and I, again, we're both very adventurous, and my wife and I, for our 5th anniversary this year, wanted to go hiking up Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. I found a company that takes people in wheelchairs. We were planning it out. It then became a thing of, let's invite some friends. We love to just have our community doing this stuff with us. And from there, they started telling people, some of the people who were going to go work at the paralysis recovery center I work at, and they were telling them about it. They're like, how can I go? How can I get involved with this? So we said, okay, we'll make a nonprofit for this. As I brought on people on the board, they go, hey, why don't we make wheelchairs for people in Tanzania? Why don't we adapt homes for them in schools and orphanages? And so it's just become this thing of, we get to really do some good work over there that has not really been done. But now we can do this here in the US and abroad in other countries that need it as well.
How in the world is Kilimanjaro possible, like physically possible? Because I have so many friends who've done it. A few of them have made it to the top. Most of them, turn around, and that's somebody who has worked out in a gym on 2 legs. Like how does that happen?
So I've been doing research, and there's actually a number of individuals that are disabled, wheelchairs, walkers that have done it. It's not a new thing, and that's the interesting thing. But there are companies out there, these people in Tanzania that's their job. They go up the mountain and they help push you, they help carry, they help motivate you. It's really cool how they come around you and help you when you need it. They'll lift you up, they'll push you. It's incredible.
Is it safe?
A lot of those things I did, I don't know if they are necessarily safe, but I feel that it's such a short life. You got to have a little risk, but from my understanding, it is safe. It's okay. Been done. This company's been doing it.
Don't make me worry about you, because I'm more concerned.
This company's been doing it for 10
coming
years.
Out, my friend. No, I think that's incredible. And I know if there's anybody on earth who can do it, it will be you, because you are such a go-getter. Were you always like that? I mean, obviously you were a Marine, but throughout your life, did you just never tend to sweat the small stuff and let stuff get you down? Because all of this is big stuff, but you just keep fighting through it. And you are just such an inspiration. I wish we could just bottle up your positive energy and put it in so many people who have lesser problems and really are struggling with that.
Well, I thank you for that. That was very kind. But no, I actually wasn't always like this. Growing up, I had my struggles, anxiety, and just going through teenage stuff. And I would say I was kind of a mess, but I would say that 2 things in life helped me get through that. It was my relationship with Christ, but also this injury has kind of cemented in a love of life because of what I've gone through and how I thought maybe this is, when you know that life isn't going to be the same, you want to push to make it as close as possible to what it was before. It's just motivated me. So.
And what was that turning point? When do you feel like Christ became more of a center in your life?
I would say around 2018. I came to Christ when I was 16, but I wouldn't say I was cemented in it. I would say I was just kind of exploring. But in 2018, I met my wife, and I was already kind of going, you know what, I got questions. I need to ask someone. And my wife and her family are some of the most faith-driven and amazing people you could ever meet. And they brought me in, and it just made me wanted to connect more with Christ and seeing how they connected with him.
Do you feel like you could have done all the things that you've done, that huge list of adaptive sports that you've been able to pull off, having a smile on your face, founding this incredible organization, helping others, the list goes on, inspiring people with your speeches, bringing tears to everybody in the room because you're so brave. Do you feel like you could have done that without being this Christ-centered?
No, no. Again, I look at key moments in my life, and I always come back to Christ. You know, I've been atheist, I've been agnostic, and I've been Christian. And every single time I've put my faith in the Christ, my life has just been so much better.
Wow, that is so powerful to be able to hear you say that. And I feel like that too. I've had a lot of medical crises in my family with my children, and I just feel like that keeps us so balanced and so centered. But I just know so many people don't know that, and I want to make sure that they know that. So let's talk about a couple of things. Let's go back to Dive Pirates, and then I want to go back into Cherney's journeys with Dive Pirates. Can people readily get involved? There may be people right now who would love to go dive. How do you suggest that they get into that and find out more about it?
Yeah, you know, with a disability, there's, again, many disabilities that are accepted by Dive Pirates. You just have to go to their website at divepirates.com or get in touch with someone, or I'm sorry, divepirates.org, I believe. And you just have to you can get in contact with me. My wife, Kelsey, is now working with them. We would be happy to connect people. And in fact, I've shared it multiple times on my page, my nonprofits page. But I feel like people just don't want to jump on it, as they feel like they might not be able to, or just are not sure.
And then let's talk about your organization. Do you need volunteers? Do you need us to try to help send donations? What can we do to help make a difference in your dreams and what you're doing?
Sure. Well, yeah, prayers first off is always accepted. We're going to be going to Tanzania in June to do an initial missions, get to know the people, what we're going to be doing. We are at a point where we are bringing on sponsors and fundraising and getting donations. We have a donate button on our website as well as Facebook and Instagram. We need volunteers. We need people who are Christ-driven, who want to help others with disabilities.
And then would they travel to Tanzania too, or they could be here and stay in the States and work from home, or how do they help you?
I think a mixture of both. So we are also doing things here in the States. If they want to come travel with us, we have one of our board members is a producer, and we're making this into a documentary, as well as we have a gentleman on the board who builds wheelchairs for a living, and we're going to be building adaptive equipment for the Tanzanian Nationals. We're going to need people who want to learn this stuff and would like to help. What
does a wheelchair look like that goes up on a mountain?
So I have one called the Grit Freedom Chair. It is an awesome product. It's got, mountain bike tires. It's got a foot plate, and how it works is you got two poles that come on the side of you, and you essentially are just doing push-ups the entire time. Okay. And it's a workout, but it is fun, and I love it. I use it almost every day.
I love hearing you say it's fun. That sounds like so much hard work to me. Well, you're so strong. You're a Marine. Hello. This is nothing for you. That's just insane. What do you do to work out to stay that strong? Because that is a lot.
Yes. Every Thursday and Friday, I work out at a paralysis recovery center called Next Step. They have an Atlanta location, but they do have locations in other states. And it is intense exercise. I'm drenched in sweat and can't breathe afterward, but I love it. They push me to no end, and I even wear a deprivation mask to get ready for the altitude while doing it. And then go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Every Monday and Wednesday, I get on that Grit Freedom Chair and I jog about 3 miles every Monday and Wednesday morning.
That is so incredible. We need to even work out with you besides just being inspired by you. Okay, so as a medical reporter, I've been interviewing a lot of different specialists who are really getting close to helping people with paralysis with different types of spinal cord stimulators and things like that. Have you been looking into that as well? And how are you feeling about the future? Because I feel like we're right there on the brink of really making some breakthroughs for the future.
Yeah, I have a spinal cord stimulator that helps with pain. It's
Hmm.
implanted in my spine, and that I'd say saved me in a lot of pain. I'm actually having, there's another nonprofit that helps veterans. They're building me an adaptive, what it would be called an exoskeleton. So
Oh,
it will go
yeah,
on my
yeah.
legs
And that
and allow
actually
me to
lets you
walk.
stand up, right? Those are
Correct.
incredible. It's almost like a robot body.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
Virginia Tech is building it for me right now. So
Good.
probably 3 to 5 years. When it comes to the implants, I know that they're doing stuff with the brain and
Mhm.
whatnot. I want to let them try that a little bit more before I jump into something like
I
that.
understand that because you're doing just fine, obviously, the way you are
Yeah.
right now with a really high quality of life. Well, and now you have a little one who you want to take diving someday?
Yes, and we're happy. She loves water. She loves baths, and I think she's going to be pretty adventurous as well. And she's about 5 months old. Her name is
Oh,
Ellie, and it has been a absolute treat. We weren't sure if we were going to have kids just because of what I was going through. So it's a
right.
real blessing.
Oh, that is incredible. Well, I'm just so happy for you, your precious wife, your beautiful little girl. And I hope you'll tell us about, please stay in touch with me. And I want to hear all about Killy. I want to do a follow up with you. I want to see what's going on because I know without a shadow of a doubt, you have the brightest future ahead of you. And I feel so blessed you shared your testimony with us. Thank you for that, Adam.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
It's truly an honor. So you take care of yourself and please stay in touch.
Yes, will do. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks again for joining us on Lunch for the Soul. And I just want to remind you all Wednesdays, the place to be here to join me on Lunch for the Soul. If you joined us late, just head on over to our Fox 26 webpage, which is fox26houston.com. You can also go to our YouTube page for Fox 26 and you can find all my Lunch for the Souls. So I hope to see you back here, same place, same time next week. Until then, have a beautiful day. Be blessed.